O tenus, ob hunc lapidem scientiae mihi datum gratias tibi hago, omnia faciam in modificationem creare tibi dedico, in nomine teni, scientiam quaero. Which is just a really fancy way to say, we've got a knowledge star, and if you take a look at how many knowledge points we have now, we can unlock the create mod. Just as soon as I find it, we can unlock the create mod, and I don't have a whole lot of time for this particular week's episode, but that's a big milestone. I've been talking about it for a while, and we have new transmogs, we have new stuff that we can get into, so I'm gonna take just a real quick jump, and we'll be back hopefully to do some building in Create, probably maybe like a basic cobblestone generator, maybe I start working on the trolley in creative mode, but we got there. We've played enough vaults that we have that much knowledge, and that is worth celebrating, my friends. Well, to get a couple things out of the way, that previous clip, I haven't taken Latin in something like 20 years, and so my Latin is very rusty. I had to use the internet a lot, and we're not talking about, just using Google Translate or anything like that. No, we're talking about looking up vocabulary, trying to figure out the declensions and the like, and I tried to get somebody to check it, but of course it was just, via Reddit, so that's free, and they're not really obligated to do anything in any particular time span, so I just kind of went with what I went with, so the Latin may potentially be inaccurate, and if that's the case, my apologies to all of the people that know Latin better than I do, but I just thought it was super cool, and I wanted to be a little bit extra for this particular progression point because I thought it merited it. Now, the next thing we want to do is check out what some of these new transmogs look like, because apparently we got transmogs for Create, and I'm just gonna take off my equipment, and this is, going to affect my stats. I really should do some inventory management, especially because we have to be ready for tomorrow's vault after all. Oh, we get extra Create goggles. Yeah, that makes sense. Wait, hold on. If these are undiscovered, then why are they white? Like, that doesn't make sense. Well, whatever. That doesn't matter. I mean, why is the background white? See how everything else is grayed out? These two are not. And yet, I can't select them. It's very weird. I don't understand that. Anyway, let's keep looking, seeing if there's any more Create-based stuff. Oh, clockwork chest piece. This would be really cool if I was my 3.5 halfling cleric. Create leggings? Okay, I kinda like the tool belt. It's not gonna go with our whole wolf liege, snowy ice wizard thing that we've got going on here, but, ooh, create boots. Okay, somebody who's really into steampunk would really like that, I bet. I kind of want to see if there's anything else, and I highly doubt this. If there's anything else for... No, yeah, so we don't have anything new in the tome. That's fine. Oop. And then, I guess last but not least, I want to check out my weapons, see if there's a create-based... No, there is not. Yeah, so as I expected, it's probably just going to be the armor, and that is a-okay. Now, let's crack open the JEI, or is it REI? NEI? I'm not sure what it's called these days, but we're going to just type in create here. And let's see. So the basic progression, obviously we're going to need water wheel, chromatic steel. Okay, but that's fine because we should be getting more chromatic steel than we used to be able to get. Oh, and I meant to look at the large water wheel because there is a difference in this version of Create compared to the, point, what is it? 0.3.2G, I think is what Create Above and Beyond is using. I looked this up specifically for my elevator tutorial, and of course I got it wrong in the audio portion of the video, but I'm pretty sure it's 0.32G in, the text description-y part. So water wheels have changed. This one, I don't know if it necessarily generates 256 stress units at maximum RPMs, but this one, basically, I think it always generates the correct amount of stress units regardless of how fast it turns. The problem is you just need to scale up the rotation accordingly. Don't quote me on that, but the point is the large water wheel is almost always the way to go if you're going to be using water power, and during our initial create setup, I am absolutely just going to be digging a hole in the wall, hiding in some water wheels, and then calling it a day. The nice thing about these water wheels in this version of Create is that they actually have like the square box around them, so that means that we don't have to deal with, you know, just kind of weird aesthetics on the side. Like if we accidentally leave one of these exposed per se and we just have like a shaft coming out and, you know, maybe we have like a glass wall or something like that, this square is going to make a lot more sense than the previous water wheel, which, you know, you couldn't really cover up. Of course, you can always put andesite casing on shafts and that'll make things look just a little bit better. So I think I'm probably going to start with the water wheel. The other thing that we could potentially do is try to get, where is it? The elevator pulley. I'm just going to... Okay, dried kelp block, that's trivial. Iron plate, I am going to have to build a press before I get to that. And, we need to make a chromatic iron block. And a block of brass? Hold on. Okay, so brass... Brass requires a mixer, and copper ingots and zinc ingots, so I think elevator's gonna have to wait. I'm just gonna need to start on a very initial power supply, and that's gonna be our water wheel, probably. And maybe hook some of these contraptions up there so I can start manually mixing and making alloys and stuff. So I think that's how I'm gonna start, and we might even be able to make a blaze burner. Hold on. Depending upon how much chromatic steel I have, this might be feasible, but we'll see. I still need to look up a bunch of recipes, and I'm kind of undecided. Now, like I said, don't really have a lot of time this week. Definitely mismanaged things, and, you know, stuff didn't go to plan, and, you know, yesterday's whole accidentally got my count removed thing kind of sucks. So I just don't have a whole lot of time today to be able to record a lot of extra content for this particular episode, and also edit it for, you know, the release date, but you can see that we've got a very basic create setup here. Right now we're just using hand cranks, but I think I've done something kind of nifty, and if things just work. So what we have in here is a basin with 9 iron nuggets, and I'm expecting this to be compacted into iron ingots. So hopefully, yeah, that does actually work. I thought there might have been too much of a gap, but let's just take that out, and, you know, just to demonstrate the point, hold on, I took one too many. We're also just gonna dunk 9 in there, and bam, now we should have a full block, and we do, which is a little excessive. We don't actually need this, but anyway, we're gonna just turn this around using the mechanical bearing and the hand crank that we have up there, and then if I do this, boom, we now have 8 sheets of iron metal. And the thing that I really like about this version of Create, or I don't know if this is something that's just in Create Above and Beyond, or something that was in, you know, that particular version of Create, which, as I've said before, is 0.3.2G. But we can put just like a whole stack of items on here of, you know, whatever sizes we feel like, and we can process them all simultaneously. We don't have to go through and one at a time, you know, crank out the sheets and stuff like that. You'll also notice that I've created a mechanical mixer, but when I went through the recipes, I realized that I can't actually make most of the stuff that requires a mechanical mixer, so this was just a little bit superfluous at this point in time. I think for next week's video, we are going to try to get a blaze burner and potentially be able to make some potions or some alloys that we're going to need to progress further and create. We also did manage to make a large water wheel. I wasn't expecting that. So at some point I am going to need to find a good space that I want to make my initial create setup in. And I'm realizing there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm taking for granted having access to and Create Above and Beyond that I just don't have yet. Stuff like millstones, because when I was originally making the super glue, I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll totally make some flour, make some dough, and then we'll make some slime using some lime green dye and the dough, and there you go, we have slime. And that, I forgot that we don't have access to milling, and we don't have access to flour just yet. So that is how we're going to get slime in the future, but thankfully I already had some, so we were able to get the super glue. Anyway, that is going to do it for today. Let me just get to a place where I can do the outro. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified. And as always, I'm looking forward to your feedback in the comments below. And with that, I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching, everybody.